YouTube, what's up? C4 here on one of many to come opinionated videos about gaming and about tech. So if you're here and you're watching my video, thanks for watching, and please subscribe and like my video, and any comments down below please, that would be great. So I'm going to go ahead and discuss why I didn't buy an Xbox One. So generally, I keep an eye on eBay and I watch for all kinds of gadgets, mostly Apple stuff, but a lot of the time, you know, I look for consoles or any kind of good bargains, so I generally watch what the going rates are for particular pieces of tech, and more or less, if I find something that's good value, then I'll generally grab it. And so here's my dilemma. I've been watching Xbox Ones for a while now, and just to give you a bit of backstory, I always purchase the two top consoles of a generation. So for example, last generation was the 360 and the PS3. So when I bought the PS4, I knew that, knowing that I would buy an Xbox One at some point later down the track. So this is where my predicament comes in. I'm so glad I bought the PS4. I was an Xbox 360 guy through and through last generation. Microsoft had me hands down. But when the next generation consoles came out, the PS4 had more grunt. And that's literally the deciding factor that pushed me over the line to get a PS4. And I'm thanking myself for that decision every day. So anyway, back to the story. I was looking on eBay and I ended up finding a few cheap Xbox Ones that were going for sale second hand. And this weekend that just passed, I actually just found one that was just under $400. Someone was selling it in the same suburb as I live. So I thought, perfect. I messaged the guy and said, look, I see your Xbox One's about to come to an end, the bidding. Would you consider settling off eBay? And you can save your seller fees and I'll save a bit of money in the process. So he said, yeah, great, here's my phone number. So I took the phone number, and just before I messaged him, I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a bit of research. It's a bit of an impulse. Like, I know I want one and I will get one, but I felt something wasn't right. So anyway, I went online and I did a bit of research, and I'm glad I didn't buy an Xbox One. Let me explain. So first of all, the PS4 has better resolution and or better frames per second in pretty much, not all, but most multi-plats. And even with the Xbox One exclusives, they're all struggling. They're not even pushing 60 FPS at Full HD 1080p, which is really alarming to me. And I know they're bringing out a new SDK and they're allocating more resources to the developers, a new core and things like that. I'm sure that's going to help a little bit, but don't expect anything too drastic. From an IT guy perspective, and I know a little bit about hardware, I wouldn't be holding your breath for anything drastic at this point. But just 3 games I picked off the top of my head. First one, which was Call of Duty Ghosts. Yeah, okay, so the Xbox is 720p at 60 FPS. Okay, PlayStation 4, 1080 Full HD 60 FPS. Okay, that's one. Battlefield 4, same thing. Xbox One, 720 at 60. PS4, Full HD 1080p at 60. Like, can you see a bit of a trend here? Okay, another one I recently purchased for the for the PlayStation 4, which was Metro Redux, which is a revamp of an old game that was released on the previous generation. So the Xbox One gets it at 912p at 60. PlayStation 4, Full HD 1080p 60. Now, if they're bringing a game up from a previous generation, and I know they've remastered it, redone the textures and made it more intricate and things like that, that's one thing, but Xbox One's just not hitting the mark. So that's my first strike. Second strike is the Xbox One exclusives just aren't hitting their mark. So I know I kind of touched on that, but for example, Titanfall, Xbox One's big console seller, and it was going to destroy the PlayStation 4. 792p at 60 FPS. That's just not good enough for exclusive game that's supposed to be one of their best sellers, that's just not hitting the mark. Second of all, Halo 5, yes, I know it's still in beta, but 720p at 60. It's not a good sign. I know they've said it's going to come out at 1080p at 60, but it's not a good sign. And the exclusives just aren't that good in my opinion. Like, Microsoft have a couple of cool exclusives coming out, and I'll go on to explain those now. But in comparison to the PlayStation, chalk and cheese. The PlayStation have so much more good quality content coming out for their platform. It's just incredible. So the games that would actually make me buy an Xbox One, Halo 5. I think that's just a benchmark. That's just, Halo 5 doesn't need anything. Quantum Break. So Quantum Break looks awesome. I will post a link in the description down below for a trailer of some actual gameplay. Looks incredible. Looks like the type of game I would actually buy an Xbox One for. Crackdown. No gameplay trailer, but the footage, showcasing the game looks incredible. Once again, link down below in description. Scalebound, another one, link below. Check that out. Looks really cool. So those four are pretty much the only games that would make me buy an Xbox One. And I know I'm kind of really bottlenecking things here and being quite strict, but this is just my opinion. So last but not least, and this hasn't even been announced, so this is just vaporware at the moment, is Gears of War. If they release a Gears of War for Xbox One, that'll be a killer. Gears of War was one of my all-time favorite games of the 360. When I was saving up to go overseas, the last couple of years of the 360's life cycle, when it was, I would actually go out and buy the Gears of War games and stay at home all weekend and game just to save money, so I'm not outside spending money. So if there is a Gears of War coming, I'll be buying an Xbox One. I know I touched on the Xbox, the PS4 has more exclusives coming out, but I'll post a link in the description to a page on the IGN website where it has both consoles listing down of their exclusives coming out. The PlayStation 4's list is almost double the length. That's another big one. About the Xbox One, and in terms of they're not focused. They're focusing on television and all these other things that they're integrating. They're, with Windows 10 coming out soon, they just want to integrate everything. They want you to join in their ecosystem, and which will force you into buying their phones and their new software and their tablets and all this stuff. You can just see they're trying to emulate what Apple did, but they're pushing very hard. And the reason why I think a lot of the gamers prefer a PS4 is because it's very basic. It's focused on gaming. Its essence is focused on gaming. So I think, in my opinion, that the PS4 will continue to dominate this generation. Now, I do have very strong opinions about software companies, and I think hardware is one thing, but software is what makes a system glow, so to speak. And Microsoft is a software company, and they are getting quite good at making software, especially for their new stuff. Now, I did say I feel like they aren't focused, and I still don't think they are. But Microsoft have a lot more legroom here. In that sense, Microsoft have a lot more potential to make the Xbox a better console as time goes on, where I see PlayStation, they're not doing so well financially, they're struggling, they don't have the resources that Microsoft have. So it'll be quite interesting to see in the forthcoming years how the consoles evolve and change software-wise. So that's just my feeling and my general gist towards the consoles. And all in all, the Xbox just doesn't have anything I want on it right now. If I was to go out and buy the Xbox this weekend, I thought, geez, when I grab it, I'm going to go to the store and pick up a few games. And I looked online and I was thinking, geez, what games am I going to get? No, don't want that. Oh, I've got all these on the PS4. Let's see exclusives. So I searched up the exclusives. Nothing. They really have nothing that I want, and I know I'm sure a lot of people are going to be pissed off at me for saying that. I just think they've got nothing. They've got nothing a hardcore gamer wants. So, in my opinion, it's a bit of a flop. Don't get me wrong. The Xbox has got a lot of potential, and I do like it. And if you're one of those people that only has one console and you've invested into the Xbox ecosystem, you're going to be happy. The games are still going to play well, but you know, I've just upgraded my TV to a 4K Sony TV, and it just works incredibly well with the top-end games that my PS4 has. So, in my humble opinion, stick with a PS4 if you're a gamer. If you want something more of like a digital hub that plays games, going to play a bit more video and things like that, then maybe Xbox is better for you. But if you want the best looking games with the best resolution and the better frame rates, PlayStation 4. So at this point, hands down. So that's why I didn't buy an Xbox. Thanks guys, peace.